Welcome back, everyone, to Strange Planet Podcast. And to pick up, I guess, from last week, I had a list of a whole bunch of things, or actually, I should say 2 weeks ago, but I had a whole list of things because, like, we're in a situation here where I keep hearing this, make America great thing. America is great. But if you watched last 2 weeks ago, was that episode, and you're going to follow through with this one here. At the same time, I guess I remember Mark even brought it up in the last video as well. It's not entirely, of course, Trump's fault. A couple of these things, not all of them, but a couple of them. But yeah, if it's so great, why aren't these things being fixed? Why aren't these things getting the attention they deserve? That's what I'm trying to get at here. Because if these things were taken care of, we wouldn't be talking about it right now. That's my point. You know what I mean? So like we were talking about healthcare the last time, we were talking about education last time, even just security and you name it. But the list does go on, and I don't want to, dip too much into this because as you guys are fully aware of, there's been a lot of chaos this week, and Christ, I don't even know where to begin with that. But moving on forward with the list here and stuff, I guess another thing that I would probably throw into the mix here is even like to the last detail, there's so many problems that are just being ignored. Now I'm just gonna like this is a more of a minor thing, but it's still an important thing, and that's just even the food quality in this country.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's not all edible. Half of the grocery store is practically poisonous at this point, whether it's packed with pesticides or GMOs or whatever it is. You know what I mean? And then the reason why I bring this up is because I find it interesting how the whole system kind of works because our healthcare sucks. You know what I mean? You pay all this fucking money and then when you need it, they don't pay and you're not there and then you're screwed. But it's like you buy this poisonous food, whether it's McDonald's or Burger King, fast food, you know what I mean? Whatever it is, it don't matter. Now, granted, if you have it like once a month, you're probably not going to be that bad. However, if you eat this shit like 3 4 times a week, you're gonna get sick. Like that stuff is not good for you. You know what I
No.
mean? No matter how you look at it, it's just not. So then what happens? You pay these billionaires all that for your greasy burger that you get 3 times a week. Then you get sick, and then you need what? Go over to Big Pharma and medical care. See how the cycle works? So what do you guys think about that? That's where I'm getting at. It's just round and
It,
round we
it,
go.
it is convenient that the less healthier foods are the ones that are the most affordable,
Yes.
right? Especially now with the whole tariffs thing.
Right.
And
That's one of the next bullet points.
a quick comment on tariffs is just I hate the fact that every company is upping their prices because hey, tariffs. Now,
It's
granted,
America. Why not?
most of them are doing it because it's necessary. I do believe some things are being done just because and just to raise prices and
Yeah.
just I mean
Tis the season, right?
tis the season to be greedy. Correct, yes.
It really is. Like it's sickening though at the same time.
Let's put the cheaply made TVs on sale at Walmart for $325 when they're not as good as the regular $325 ones you pay on a regular day. Anyway, but that's besides the point. Getting back to what you were talking about.
Right, right. That's
It's,
actually going to be for later in the episode, though. I
yeah.
wanted to bring the tariffs as another thing on the list. But go on, go on.
Fuck, I lost my train of thought real quick.
We were talking about food
food.
originally.
There you go. Thank you. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't help that we do not have the same health regulations they do in like Europe and other countries where they don't put any artificial flavors, sweeteners, and stuff. And we are all about the corn syrup here in this country because that's oddly enough that's one of our main crops. But I'm not gonna get into the science of that. We're like, what it was like 90% of it is non-edible. It's all like corn husks you feed to cows and shit.
Yeah, it's not really good whatsoever. And the thing that cracks me up about it is that corn syrup is in majority of food. But the funny thing about it is you have like soda companies making the soda, which, in general isn't really that good for you, but like with real sugar, but the real sugar versions go overseas to them and then
Yeah.
we get the corn syrup ones here. Like,
Yeah,
They
what
can't
actually,
sell it. They can't sell it anywhere else.
Yeah,
That's the
exactly.
so
problem.
there's a regular American Coke, I guess, and then there's Mexican Coke, which uses real cane sugar,
Right.
whereas this one, in America uses aspartame. Now, I think actually that Coca-Cola recently announced that they were switching to use cane sugar in, the American version. So I don't know if that's happened yet. I personally don't drink soda.
I usually don't either.
So,
As
you
But I
know,
can tell
far
you
as I
this,
know,
it
it's still
hasn't
the
happened
same.
yet.
But that's something that like Trump was flouting around. So I don't know if they put out a statement just to put out a statement just to shut him up, or if they actually are considering to go back. Because people
oh,
have been complaining.
Trump or RFK Jr.
Not RFK Jr. That guy's fucking. You seen that
No, no.
guy?
Well,
Like,
he's probably said something about that.
Mm.
He
they
wants to
also
seem
said
like
they were
a
going to get us a terrific health
credible.
care plan too. How did that turn out?
Oh yeah, it turned out exactly how they wanted it to.
Yeah, how did that
They're
turn
getting
out
to
10
raise
years later?
prices for the rich.
Yeah, nah,
No,
trust me, it
but
ain't
Honestly,
happening. It
you're
ain't
going to see
happening.
so many people without health care next year.
Yeah. Oh,
It's going to be
yeah.
ridiculous.
There's a bunch. I was reading a report earlier today saying that most people that if it goes up like 2 or 3 times, like it's going to, what if those Obamacare things aren't renewed, they were just going to not, that's it, cut it. They're going to have to just deal without health care for a couple of years. Imagine that.
If Obamacare is revoked, the $600 at the end of the year is also revoked with that, right? Because remember that was kind of the stipulation. You had to either get Obamacare
Or you,
or you had
yeah,
to pay the $600 at the end of the year.
right. I don't
well,
know
that went
actually.
away.
Oh,
That
that went
I
away.
think due to a court decision, perhaps.
Good, because I didn't like that. Like
Well,
if you
I
don't,
mean, I think it was a fair enforcement mechanism. Like, if you are going to benefit from Obamacare and you can pay for it, then you're going to benefit regardless. Um, you're going to get health care, and if you don't have health care, then you're putting the entire system not at risk, but you're increasing costs for everyone because insurance companies, they um, well, I mean, they fix their premiums so that they make a profit, but they
Oh, of
account
course.
for all of the people that, don't have health insurance, and they'll say, oh, well, you know, hospitals have to take care of people that they have to, regardless of whether they can pay or not. And so, you go to a hospital, you get a hospital bill. If the person has no insurance, they still have to treat them so that they don't die. And that costs money. It costs doctors, it costs machines, it costs, a lot of money in order to, and medications, pharmaceuticals. So it costs a lot of money. And the idea of Obamacare with the enforcement mechanism through, that tax, and the Supreme Court ruled it was a tax and a valid use of Congress's taxation power. Um, that was the way to, pay for it. Um, because otherwise, the money has to come from somewhere because, we
Right. No,
don't
that
have a
makes sense.
system where doctors and hospitals and, a health industry works for free. We don't have that. Now, it does provide, some perverse incentives. It didn't control costs the way that we would have hoped it would. Now, what would have helped, obviously, was um, the public option, which was
Hmm.
originally in the Obamacare bill, but
Hmm.
because of happenstance, Ted Kennedy died and was replaced by a Republican in Massachusetts who lasted, I think, one term, um, or maybe till the end of that special election term or whatever. And then also Al Franken, who was the senator from Minnesota. He had been elected, and it took forever to get him seated. So they didn't have a filibuster-proof majority. But this is all getting technical. The thing is that Obamacare passed narrowly, but they had to take out the public option. Otherwise,
It wouldn't have passed.
Scott Brown from Massachusetts would have vetoed it, or not vetoed it, would have voted no for it. So, we have what we have. It's not perfect, but it's a vast, vast improvement over the existing system where people could just, you know, get kicked off their health care, millions of people going without health care. Um, but the thing that we have to, you know, still work on, there's still work to be done, is cost. Now, you know, obviously we have, world-class doctors and health staff. Um, there are vast problems in it because a lot of hospitals and are consolidated. They're owned by like, mega corporations and they have to make a profit just like any other corporation. And so that, doesn't really provide, the best medical care in many cases. So there's that problem, but also there's costs and those costs, are increasing and the quality of care isn't as good as it could be. So, you know, we have to, and by just, subsidizing it, all we're doing is, saying, okay, well, we're going to keep the costs, as they are, because if people couldn't pay for, um, health services, some of that profit has to come away because, there's less demand. But that's the thing about healthcare, though. It's such a unique, like, product or service. It's not something that people necessarily want. You don't want to go to the hospital. You don't want to get operations. It's not something that, but you
You're looking
have
forward
to.
to. I'm like,
Yeah, right, right.
yeah.
It's something like people have health, they're alive, and in order to keep them alive, in order to keep them healthy, you have to, have, you know, either you have to either stay healthy or, in many cases, people don't have that option.
Right.
And so,
Well, not to
you know,
cut you off right there, but that's where I feel like the food ties into this. Because if we were, better as a country as far as health goes, this would be probably not only easier, but the country would be a lot healthier too. You know what I mean?
oh,
But like,
absolutely.
yeah, but like
Um,
we don't have that here, and it's not part of the American agenda, clearly. Because like,
right, but it's
there's
also,
Starbucks and McDonald's at every single corner, but that's not just for the billionaires to keep making their profit, which they are, but it's also to keep America sick. So they have to then go to the hospital or go
well,
to the
look,
doctor,
all
get
right.
some
We
medication, you
we
know what I
know
mean?
we know that there are some very shitty fast food places and shitty quality food that you can find at the grocery store. There's also a lot of great food. The problem is it's too expensive.
Expensive. Yes.
And so people most of the time if you're not well off, you can't afford a lot of the healthy to eat a lot of the healthy food all the time. And so, and yeah, some people have like unhealthy lifestyle choices. Like, there's really no reason to, drink soda
Right.
except for the fact that you like the taste.
Or it goes good with
I mean,
whiskey. But go on.
sure.
Go
I
on.
I like mine. I like mine straight.
But usually on
Just
ice is the best, on the
yeah, on
rocks.
the rocks. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't drink soda with any drinks or anything. I just, you know, you don't have to have it. People make those choices. And in this country, I think that people should be allowed to make those choices. It's, the solution is not to say, okay, we're gonna ban this or that.
No, I wasn't
I think people
implying
should.
that.
No. Well, I
Yeah.
mean, in other countries like into Europe, they may ban some certain harmful substances, but overall, like that is one aspect of it, but I think it's more of like the health and lifestyle choices that many Americans choose to make. But also, the expense of, you know, and it's also time too, because a lot of the healthy food you have to take time to prepare and cook yourself, and
True.
a lot of people don't want to do that
Or they don't have
or
the
don't
time
have
to
the
do it.
time to do
Yeah, because
that.
they're working too much.
They're working and
They
they have, too much else to be stressed out about, and
don't have time to
it's
sit
just,
home and
yeah.
cook. Yeah, like
And so, to buy like some frozen dinners that you can heat up in a microwave, that's, a lot of times that's the easy, convenient choice, but it's not the healthiest choice,
right.
but because it would have preservatives a lot of the times.
And some of it's not even real.
I
You
mean,
heard
it's
about the whole
real.
Campbell soup thing.
I
Yeah.
mean,
Sure you
that's
heard about
that's
that.
yeah, but I mean, there's no real confirmation on that. But um, I think that, you know, if we're, honest about our, America, I mean, relative to other countries, like we make unhealthy choices when it comes to food. And I don't think the solution is necessarily to say, let's ban, unhealthy food. I think it's, um, kind of like what, um, and Republicans like to, ha ha ha, or they get offended. But, Michelle Obama's like, let's move, agenda. Like
I
people
remember
need to
that.
exercise, people, need to eat, make healthier choices. It's not about telling you what to eat. It's about this is your body. Make healthier choices when it comes to, you know, the food that you consume.
I still think though that like sure you like I agree that you like we shouldn't just ban them all because that's just not right in a sense either. But I still think there should be some kind of enforcement that the food should still be real. You know what I mean? Because we
Okay.
don't really have that here as much like
I mean,
as far as I know
define real.
well as
I
far as I
mean,
know Italy is the only country so far that completely banned like that lab grown meat. And if you think that's going to happen in America, you are freaking nuts. I'll tell you that. Because they're probably already feeding it to you. You know what I mean? So like that, like it should be real. Like I put it this way, the way
well, I
I've
don't know.
reason
Like what is like lab grown meat? Like
it's fake.
there,
It's probably
okay,
3D
but
printed meat.
there's like fish protein that they put in like California rolls. Is that bad? I don't know.
Well, that I can't talk
Um,
about. Yeah, I don't really know too much
yeah,
about
I
that
mean, I
specifically.
mean, there's, definitely a varying degree of, what's real or what's not real.
Well, put it this
Um,
way, that's in a sense that's true, but if you went to McDonald's back in the 90s and got, a regular quarter pounder with fries then, and then you get that same meal now, not only is it smaller, I feel like it's a lot faker now than it was then.
yeah, but it was also more unhealthy. They
Now
use,
than then. I think it's
no,
more healthy
it was
now.
more unhealthy. It's more healthy now.
You think it's more
Um,
healthy now?
yeah, McDonald's actually made a lot of choices to like improve the health quality of the food. Obviously, it's not going to be, like buying something and making it from Whole Foods, but it's definitely a lot better. Like they stopped using I think, animal fat or something to fry, their fries
The
in.
excessive
Their
Like,
trans
chicken
fats. Yeah.
nuggets are made of like pink
yeah, you're
slime or
right.
some shit though, ain't it?
But
Okay,
it's
but
not that it's pink slime.
Like, that's
It's
that
what
can't
I'm
be real
saying,
chicken. Like
what I'm saying is like don't have this nostalgia about the 90s like it was healthy. No, it was not healthy.
it was
It was, in
healthier is
fact,
the key word.
no,
Healthier, I think.
no, I don't think it was healthier. It was maybe bigger portions, but it was not healthier. It was cheaper.
It was definitely
But
cheaper, that's for
Yeah.
sure.
you don't get cheap food for, healthy food. Unfortunately.
Well, I mean,
You
true.
gotta
Think,
If you're
they
if
think
you're
can
going to
afford
where
that
it.
you're
place, you're
coming
not going
from.
to get health food. You know what I
The
mean?
the actual burger patties that they use now are an over processed patty that is filled with preservatives.
Yeah, and
They
fillers.
make it in their labs or kitchen, and then it gets trucked all over to all their franchises. Now, if you think of the original McDonald's that opened, they were using real beef.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm
granted,
sure.
also they didn't have a million customers coming at the door every 5 minutes.
Right. And 19 million locations.
So they had to adapt. They had to do something to
Yeah.
adapt to get the
Mass
food out the
market,
door. It's
mass
not
produce,
it's
you know?
not food, but it's not good food. And that's
Right, right.
basically the line is. And I think this could be fixed, but it has nothing to do with food. It has to do with number one, education of food, which I think is really part of one of the poor problems in this country is education in
In
general.
general, yeah.
Yeah.
Between
We talked about that last
budgeting,
video.
realistic of what you expect when you get out of school and get into a workplace, shit
Mm,
like that. They don't
right.
teach any of that shit, and that's a problem.
Yeah.
Second thing is inequality in money. As the years progress, the millionaires take more for themselves and less for everyone else, and then there's more people for what's left over.
Did you
And
see
now,
this list? Go
no.
on.
But I'm
Go
saying
on.
though, like with that whole money situation, that's a part of the problem too. I mean, we don't need all the money. It's just that if people would pay their fair share or even part of their fair share, I think things would be a little bit better.
Yeah.
But that's that's money, that's back and forth. That's kind of we have to wait and see if it does happen. If it
It
will
ain't.
work, but education is definitely a number one needs to get done.
Yeah.
When it comes to health, like the medical industry, it should be less about profit and more about making people healthy. Now, granted, I don't want to run the country into way in the red because we're healing everybody. Everyone's healthy, and now we're like $30 trillion in debt. No, I don't want to do that. But at the same time, there has to be a give and take. I mean, doctors make so much money. They're driving Porsches and going into restaurants and getting meals for free. Why? They have the money. They can pay it. It's just, it's just kind of curtail things in the end, maybe reeling in a little bit, kind of even it out the scales.
Reminds me, what you just said there reminds me, you ever seen Get Him to the Greek? It was a movie from like, God, it's got to
No,
be at least 10 years ago with
yeah, that
Russell
was the one
Brand,
with
with the rock star. Yeah, well, it's funny because like
Yeah,
they
I've
were
seen it.
kind of loaded because he's a rock star, and they all go out to this club and they're drinking. He's like, "Isn't that funny? You get rich and then everything's free." You're like, "What?" But he's right.
Yep,
If you think
yep.
about it, that's
It's
how it
true,
works here.
though.
If you're poor, you pay double, but if you're rich, it's free.
Yeah, 'cause everyone doesn't want to upset you. You know what I'm saying? It's like, no, fuck
Backward
that.
ass nation, man.
I honestly wish that I could go to my job and just be like, yeah, no, fuck you, twice as much. Give me your money. But
Right, right.
it's all franchise. So
But it's also funny you brought up that income inequality thing, because that was the next thing on the bulletin list. Because like everybody else, all the working class, that is, they don't see a big jump as far as, what I mean, wages go and stuff like that. You know what I mean? But the owners and everybody else, they're seeing crazy surpluses over the past couple of years and stuff. So it's like if your company is worth like $1 billion, maybe it should be worth 900 million and you should just pay your employees. Is that asking too much? Like, maybe it is. It's a greedy ass nation. I don't know. Like, is that a far-fetched idea? I don't think so. I think
what
900 million is
one
pretty
of the
fucking comfortable to live in. You know what I mean?
funniest situations
There are
is
2 minutes left. I'll
really
just say.
quickly. One of the funniest situations I find about this whole finance situation is that they keep pushing the line further and further and further and further. It doesn't stop at that point.
Yeah.
There should be a line like, oh, we made this much for this year. Yay, we're happy. Let's do that again next year.
Nope. It's got to be
No.
more than next year.
Let's add
That's
another
why.
$200,000 to that number. Let's add another $3 million to that number.
Yeah,
It's
it's
like,
always got to be more. It can never be the same. You know what I
yeah.
mean? Yeah.
And
And
then
then
when
the
you get
employees forget about that. You know what I
then when you
mean?
get investors involved and having to get them paid, it's just forget
Well,
it.
that's the reason investors expect a return. You can't have a
Yes, we
return
can't
if you
expect
don't have an
return
increase in value.
forever. I don't know.
If
I
you're
don't
an
know.
investor, you're going to move
But
your
it's
money elsewhere.
putting investing on certain things just doesn't seem
They
right.
don't want this. They don't want the same. They want, yeah. So that's where I'll agree with you. Healthcare should not be, solely a
Open market, yeah.
for-profit industry.
Right.
It shouldn't.
But in
Like, it's
America, it
Okay.
something
is.
that the demand we can't really control. Obviously, we could be healthier, make healthier
Obviously.
choices. But at some point, people are going to need healthcare, even
Yeah.
if they're super healthy, and make healthy choices. So that is like a weird market where, it's not some choice that people, can take it or leave it. Like it's you have to have that. And so for markets like that, perhaps, food, water, certain types of food, not like luxury food, but like basic, food necessities, the for-profit thing does not really work.
At
Okay.
all. And all right. And that's all we got for this week, folks. And just a keynote about the health food thing. None of us are health freaks or nothing like that. We're just, trying to shed some light on some of this. That's all. I mean, we're not telling you what to do or anything like that, but it's just a matter of awareness. You know what I mean? So
And
take it, use it. And what
what
was
some
that?
of us, I was going to say, and what some of us are left with options when it comes to being not rich. Sorry.
So that's all we got for this week, folks. We'll see you next week. We'll have new episodes every Friday normally on YouTube. And till next time, peace.